Trigger warning, spoiler alert. I don't have a witty intro written. You're listening to another evergreen episode of the Tom Kelly Show. Here's the fun part, folks. I don't know if this is going to air before my other evergreen episode I just did with Christian Bladt. This is completely confusing, and I'm completely screwing up what evergreen shows are about by telling you it's an evergreen show. Christian, you're a big shot in show business. Tell them what evergreen shows mean.
Well, an evergreen show is one that you record in a very specific way so that you don't, it's basically the opposite of a hostage video. You don't want to hold up your newspaper with today's date on it, because you might not use this for a year. I had a segment that sat around on my podcast for literally 2 years until it was the right time to sneak it into another episode. And it's you do it. I mean, tons of shows do it, you know, and the idea of evergreen means that you can literally use it any time of the year because it is always green. It is always fresh, because you're not going to talk about whatever the news of the day is. Tom and I aren't going to talk about it.
So if this show is the home of personal growth and fun, today we're going to focus less on the personal growth adventure and more about the fun. Christian is the star of his self-titled podcast called the Bladtcast. Actually, I guess that's not self-titled enough, is it? Is that self-titled?
I mean, it's self-titled. It's my last name. I mean, you know, it's not the Christian Bladtcast, so I guess that would be self-titled.
Is that
so far?
What is eponymous? Yeah. Okay. There we go. So it's somewhat the eponymous.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. There you go. So you're eponymous. See, I work with Christian too, and he had many of Dennis Miller's mannerisms before he spent 10 years working with Dennis Miller. But Christian's one of those friends that elevate your game, where you feel the urge to go for the funnier punchline, you feel the urge to go for the smarter punchline, or you feel the urge to use the bigger word. Do other people feel that way when they talk to you?
Yeah, I've probably heard that before. And, you know, I think that I fake it largely. You know, it's, I try not to use a word that I don't quite know what it is, but I'm going to use a word. If I'm going to use a word, I have to at least be able to pretend that I know how to use it in a sentence. And sometimes the fun could be you call him my bluff. It's like, no, he does not know what spurious means. So let's call him out on it and see.
And I don't. So next topic. Here we go. So you're in your house.
I am.
You own your house, right?
I mean, I'll own it in 25 years, but yes.
Fine. But yeah, but you and your wife own it. You're taking care of the house. You care about the shape of the house. It's not like if there's a water leak, you could just walk away and go somewhere else. I saw a meme posted by my friend Ashley. And it said, why hire a contractor and spend the money when your significant other can do the work for free over a span of 5.5 years?
I mean, assuming that your spouse, your significant other can actually do it, there might be some merit to that. But sometimes a spouse might tell you they can do something, and they'll get to it. But I may or may not have lived in a house that had an addition added to it, and the addition did not get painted for pretty close to a decade. So eventually we got aluminum siding because it was clear that it was not going to get painted.
Now, was that you or your pop who didn't paint the house?
Well, I don't think he's listening, so that'll be my dad.
Okay. Oh my gosh. And I also added a few thoughts to this. It was, you could also, the good news about doing something yourself over a 5-year period nowadays that your dad probably didn't go through is, while you are waiting to finish the project, you can also experience the shame of having your significant other complain about it on social media and have everybody gang up on you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because in those days, all that would happen is your spouse, who may or may not be my mom in this scenario, your spouse would talk to her sisters and her friends, and they would all know about it. But it wasn't like going to a virtual town square and yelling, you know, about like, can you believe that my house still isn't painted?
Well, now you seem to have a good relationship with Heather on that front. Like, I don't think you've ever posted anything passive aggressive about Heather, nor has she about you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the honest answer is that that's not a particularly healthy thing to do. So if you have an issue that is like that, it would be better to talk about it. My wife was raised in a way that you should never go to bed angry. And I think that we've probably gone to bed mildly annoyed, but you should always talk about it. Don't just go to bed. Don't go to bed and be like, don't let it fester overnight. And so I think when something comes up, we would talk about it, but also I would never promise to be able to accomplish any housework, anything. I mean, dishes, laundry, that stuff, sure. But I mean, actual home repairs, she knows what she married into, and it is not this old house with Bob Vila.
Actually, that's probably the only type of theme you're not doing on your podcast is home repair.
Yeah, but we'll have that show in 2023, or depending on how long you save this for, 2024.
Let's see where it goes, my friend. Let's see where that goes. I got the funny part is I will probably release this. I'm going out to California if I'm recording this April 6th, if I'm admitting when we're recording this, I will be out in California by April 21st. I am feeling immense anxiety about the trip.
Sure.
I hate booking. First of all, problem one, I've had this trip to California on the radar since November. And I just have this feeling of, why can't I just do it? I just want to get it over with. This is part of why I don't book that trip ahead of time. I just want to do it now and get it over with. Two, what's California look like? Is it still there? Are people nice out there? Is it crowded? Are there homeless people sleeping everywhere? Did they cure COVID yet? What's going on out there?
Depending on what part of California you come to, some people will tell you that there never was COVID here to begin with. So that'll be easy enough to find that. The homeless problem, like any big city, I know how it is in New York. It is very real in some very, in a lot of sections. You'd have a lot of tent cities up in places. And, there's a part of it where you can be annoyed and you can be disgusted in your authorities for the way it is, but it's hard to not have the sympathy for the people who end up in those situations. There's a lot of reasons why somebody might end up leaving on the street, and the ones who clearly need some kind of medical attention or hospitalization and are unable to receive it for whatever variety of reasons that's the biggest problem, because those are the people that you don't know what happens next. You don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to react to interaction with the public at any time. So it is legitimately scary. And I do have two small children. Where I live in the San Fernando Valley, it's largely suburban. So in general, it's fine. But certainly there are parts out here where you do see some encampments, I guess is what we refer to them as. But if you go to downtown LA and you get off the freeway, you're going to see a lot of them. And, it's just like New York. It's, before Times Square became Disney Times Square, you just walk on the other side of the street. Or sometimes if it's late enough, I would go against the conventional wisdom. And I used to walk in the middle of the street because I felt safer in the middle of the street than I did walking on the sidewalk, because I knew when a car was coming.
Yeah. That is against the conventional wisdom. I don't know if I advocate that, but it's funny how
I was a younger man and usually drunk. So,
it is. So I'm going to be staying in Studio City. Am I going to get shot?
You're going to be fine. You're going to be not too far from me. I think, maybe I would say when you're staying in Los Angeles in whatever year this is, you might want to go an extra half-star rating than you might normally. If it's a 2.5 star, go ahead and splurge for the 3 star.
Okay. Go a half star higher. That's probably, that could be your meme. Like if I were doing a promotional Instagram, go a half star higher.
One half star. Don't go a whole star higher. That's crazy talk. You're wasting money. But a half star, you're going to be in a better neighborhood than you would be if you were a half star lower, for sure.
So you're married now, and you were just talking about when you were single. How many sets of sheets did you have when you were young and single? And how many sets of sheets do you have for your bedroom now?
I believe I had 2 sets of sheets, but still probably didn't wash them nearly as often as I should. But I always felt like I needed to have more than one. And now, in terms of sets we use with regularity, we have 3, but there are at least 2 other sets of sheets that have yet to be opened. So I will say that in my house, and I'm just talking about for the master bedroom, this isn't for my kids' rooms, they each have 2 sets of sheets, by the way, in case you were wondering. But we have 3 sets of sheets in the rotation and a total of 5 sets of sheets. One of them were from a radio sponsor.
Wait, really? Were they worthy of the spot? Like, I hear these radio commercials for sheets, and sometimes I want them.
Yeah, if Boll and Branch is a sponsor, then I will say that they are fantastic sheets. So if they're not a sponsor, I'll say they were okay. You know, but I will say that they are not the nicest set of sheets that we have.
Okay, out of the 2,
the 3 that are in rotation.
3, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. We're coming towards about where I need to be on the show. I have a game written out that I want to try playing with a friend. It's called One Must Go. I name 4 things. One has to go. Now, these 4 things may not all be awful, but one has to go.
Ringo.
That was, God damn it, that was yesterday's. But yes, you get it. And it's funny how everybody picks Ringo. Poor Ringo. But you get it. Original Beatles, John, George, Ringo, and who am I missing?
Sir Paul McCartney.
Sir Paul. Yeah, and then you go Ringo. There you go. So ready? You know what? Maybe I could pull up some game showy music too.
Oh my gosh. If you have the theme from what did they used to have in Mini Control on the NBC tour? You know,
I think
used to have the dating game.
We did have this too. Ready? All right. One must go. Celebrity moms of celebrities. Kate Hudson's mom, Goldie Hawn. The Kardashian mom, Kris Jenner. Lenny Kravitz's mom, Roxy Roker. Or Jason Schwartz's mom, Talia Shire.
Well, honestly, you could have stopped after you went with Kris Jenner. I didn't need to hear the other 2.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Ding, that the board is not, God damn it, the board won't let me do 2 sounds at once. Here we go. Famous Travises. Travis Barker, Travis Scott, Travis Tritt, Travis Mills.
Well, I don't know who Travis Mills is, so I'm going to pick
so let's go with that one. Yeah, there we go. Good. Nuts, pistachios, cashews, walnuts, or D's.
Well, I'm going to have to stay pistachios because you can never say goodbye to these nuts.
There you go. Famous butts, butt dials, butt cheeks, butt ins, or cigarette butts.
Oh, cigarette butts. Come on.
That's an easy one. Celebrity women with great butts, according to Radar Online. Salma Hayek, Halsey, Chara, Bella Hadid.
Wait, is Chara not Charo? Is this someone different?
Yeah, Chara with an A is different than Charo.
Or it because I don't know who Chara with an A is.
Ciara?
Oh yeah, Ciara. Yeah, we can go with her. If it was Charo, I would get rid of all 3 of the others and just only keep Charo.
And then we would play One Can Stay. Gotcha.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Celebrity men with great butts, according to newidea.com. Notice how I am attributing the website so that way I'm not the one doing the sexual harassing. Calvin Harris, John Cena, Mario Lopez, or Tom Hardy.
I can't say that I know what Tom Hardy's posterior looks like, but I feel like I don't need Bane's ass. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Tom Hardy.
You don't want to see my ass. It's your city. You could
Gotham, this is the ass you deserve.
Oh my God, this is the worst game ever. No wonder Elvis Duran didn't play it. Okay, cheeses. Gouda, mozzarella, cheddar, or Swiss?
Gouda.
Yeah, okay. Friends to have in your 20s and 30s, the one who's always single or the one who's always in a relationship?
Oh, wow. I guess yeah. I had to think about it. So the one there's only two, right? So
there's only two on this one. There's only two.
So the one that I would get rid of is the one who's in a relationship, because who am I going to hang out with? I want the always single friend so that I can hang out with them. And that's because, by the way, I'm starting from a place that I'm also usually single in my 20s as well. So that's probably why I chose that.
Okay. Post-COVID work perk. Work from home Mondays and Fridays. Work from home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Work from home Tuesday, Thursday. Office is closed. Work from home forever. Which work perk would you get rid of if you were at a steady job? Yeah, you have to get.
I would get rid of the work from home forever. I think it's good to have to come in at least a little bit. If it's only 2 days a week, I think that's fine. But I think 0 days a week, I think that's not great for productivity. I think getting the treat of working home a little bit, and not, especially people who have to commute, I think you should come in at least a little bit.
Famous houses. House of Pancakes, House of Gucci, House of Pain, House of Hogwarts.
Oh, House of Hogwarts, because I'm not into wizards and that sort of stuff.
It's a little overrated. Radio show staples, prank calls, news, entertainment news, or traffic updates.
Well, I guess it depends on where you live. I need traffic updates in Los Angeles. You could use them in New York.
Wait, but do you listen to them on the pop culture radio stations, though? I don't. Like on Z100.
No, but I could. Yeah, but if you're listening to Z100 in the morning and you know the traffic is going to come up, I can see the use of it. Although back in the day, I'm sure Elvis doesn't do it now, but they used to record their traffic updates, so they were old by the time they played them. But if I have to get rid of one of the bits that you said, right, I know the one to get rid of. With apologies to Todd Pettengill, prank phone calls.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of over, right?
Yeah, I think I think that honestly, about half the time, excuse me, honestly, about half the time, prank phone calls made me really uncomfortable. I always felt bad for the person on the other end. Sometimes I didn't, and they were funny. Like the first time I heard a Jerky Boys cassette back in the day, I thought it was very funny. But if I feel bad for the person on the other end, I can't get into it. And I think that they just got increasingly meaner over the years, and I got to a point where I just didn't enjoy them anymore.
Yeah, I liked them when they were sweet and innocent. Like my favorite prank call when I used to make prank phone calls for morning radio shows a little bit after I knew you in the 2000s, I would call a restaurant or business and then say, the person who I was dealing with in the morning bit me. And in general, and I will still make that prank phone call if I'm like at a TV show and I'm working for an hour and I have a lot of time to fill. If I start making prank calls, the day has gotten long. And then I'll start playing He Bit Me. I used to call it the effer bit me. And I would just be like, like my best one was, or the first one I did that worked was to Starbucks of Massapequa. I played it on the show. I don't know why I'm recanting it now. I'm recanting it now just to
because I don't think I've heard it. I have heard some of your prank phone calls, and I never felt like, I didn't hear all of them, but I never felt like they were particularly mean. I think that, yeah, I did two that were mean off the top of my head. And I don't do well with mean humor. I think that's something I've learned about me is I'm good at being silly, goofy. In fact, Whoopi even once said to me when I got in trouble for a joke that was very funny, but her line was, "But Tom, in your heart, you weren't trying to be funny. You were being mean." And she was right. And I apologized. Honestly, that's a great piece of advice.
Like actually what you were talking about.
If you're trying to be funny and it happens to be mean, but it's still funny, I can see that. But if your goal was to be mean, then there's something wrong with that. And Whoopi would know,
And to your point about something you said on the last Evergreen show, which now may have to air back to back with this, you once pointed out how I got into a fist fight with somebody I knew at a show. And I'm not going to repeat the remark, but I said something that might have been funny because now the person started. The person started the fight.
The person 100% started it. No
But
one would disagree with that.
I then went with a very biting retaliation that I'm not proud and all. Yeah. And as with all self-help moments,
There's something about their personal life that you knew because you knew the person.
Yes. And that is where I can control things. I could have just taken the hit and gone on. I drop a bomb and that person's feelings were hurt in a way where they wanted to deck me. But I wasn't being funny. I was being mean. And that's not where Tom Kelly does his best work.
To bring it back full circle on prank calls, there's an exception. I'm sure you know the comedian Jim Florentine. He has a brilliant collection of prank calls where he recorded telemarketers who called him. Those are people I don't feel bad for, not even remotely. Those are hysterical. He would see how long he could try to keep them on, and he would have really elaborate bits. That's very funny to me.
I'm trying to see if she comes up. Damn it. Okay. It's not, I'll put her name in the show notes. There's also a woman who I don't know how I know her, but she follows me. I follow her. She's out in LA, very pretty. She's a TikTok star. Rosie in real life does a mini version of the Florentine thing, except she does amazing voices. So like when those internet scammers call her to try to do her insurance, she'll just start talking as Siri. Like she'll start doing little accents and stuff. And she's also good at doing an old lady. And you'll listen to these scammers just really try to take advantage and get into her computer. And what she'll do is she'll do old lady voice and Siri voice in the same pitter patter. Like, so she'll be like, I can't get into my computer not working, like anyway. And then the guy would just like put the password in again. And it would just, she was really taking advantage of awful people. So on that, ladies and gentlemen, Christian's podcast, the Bladtcast, available on all major platforms and on YouTube. We are doing new shows, whether you like it or not. There is new content here on the Tom Kelly Show, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and we're across the board on social. And if you like something, share it. If you're on YouTube, show love and write a little comment. And we'll be back again somewhere else according to the previously mentioned schedule. Good night, New York. All right, my friend, that is perfect.